What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the crossover. It is a 5:41 on a beautiful Missouri morning. I'm Chandler Wilson. With me, Haston Wilson and John Lang. And John, I think you got a trivia question for us this morning. What you got?
Yeah, well, as you guys know, it's Father's Day weekend. We will get a lot more into that as we go. But I want to start out with a little nugget I learned in my Father's Day research. Did you guys know that a certain former NBA superstar, I'll give you a hint, his father he had an NBA career of his own. His nickname was Jelly Bean, and he is the current Los Angeles Sparks head coach.
Oh, baby, Joe Jelly Bean Bryant, Kobe's dad.
There you go. I had no idea.
I knew it was Kobe Bryant's dad. I don't think I would have remembered his name was Joe. But
yeah,
so I'll give Haston that one.
He played professionally in Europe for a really long time, and that was Kobe Bryant's childhood, pretty much, before he graduated from Lower Marion High School. That's basically all the facts that I know about young Kobe.
I'm pretty sure that Kobe's dad, I think, did he play in Italy? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But
yeah, because Kobe can speak Italian, and he can play soccer really well. He can speak. Isn't that how you say it? Italian?
I'd say Italian. Oh, whatever. We're splitting hairs here. But I think Kobe's dad played with Mike D'Antoni there too, if I remember correctly.
That sounds right. I'm going to put that as a poll question this week, so I hope you're prepared.
Is it Italian or Italian?
Yeah.
All right, whatever. Go for it.
Just so we're aware, for our editor and our listeners at home that, send us regular notes about how wrong we are on little tidbits here and there. This could be out of date. I don't know if he's still the head coach of the Sparks, because I just found that this source also says Kobe Bryant just finished his 16th season of the NBA and will eventually retire. So,
right.
There you have it.
Fair enough. They can't all be winners. Okay, well, before we got a lot to go over. We got a good show for you this morning. I guess you probably will be listening to it in the afternoon or evening, but Haston, first, why don't you hit us with the scripture of the day?
Our scripture of the day, brought to you by the Richmond United Methodist Church, open hearts, open minds, open doors, comes to us from Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 4 through 9. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. All these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. That was our scripture of the day, brought to you by the Richmond, Missouri United Methodist Church. Check out our youth group during the school year, Wednesday nights at 6.
Nice. Thanks for that, Haston. So, everybody, we've got a little bit of breaking news that just came across the table here. The Warriors.
At 5:40 a.m.
The Warriors beat the Cleveland Cavaliers in 4 games to win the NBA Finals, and they're also good at basketball.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. No, in all seriousness, we know you're probably tired of hearing about the finals and, LeBron and KD and all the pettiness. Okay, we're never tired of the pettiness, let's be real. So, to recap the finals, we're going to ask a question and try to answer it. And I don't think the answer is as easy as you would think. Fellas, could a hand-picked starting 5 from the rest of the NBA beat the Golden State Warriors? And the obvious answer seems like yes, but I don't think it's that simple. I think you really have to think about this.
I do have to think about it. I would say if you just throw them out there, like, I don't know what your team would be, I don't know, off the top of my head, here. I'm probably forgetting somebody, but you would obviously have like LeBron. Who would you want at your point? I don't know. Maybe a healthy Kyrie Irving. Maybe Damian Lillard. I don't know. Whoever, take your pick. Let's see. Who would you want down low? I mean, you would want Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Maybe
know.
some Kawhi. Healthy Kawhi.
Yeah, a healthy Kawhi. I don't know. Somebody, I don't know, help me out here. Who would you want at shooting guard?
Not James Harden. Because
no, I wouldn't think so.
And I'm not knocking James Harden, but I think you throw him out there with the rest of those guys. To me, the two locks for sure have got to be LeBron and Anthony Davis. Like those two guys, you for sure have to throw on this team. I think I also like the idea of Kyrie. I think at a 2 you need somebody who's going to play good defense and will also make an open
that's exactly
three.
what I was thinking. We've got enough scores.
Right. Who you really need is Klay Thompson, but he's unavailable because he plays for the Warriors.
Right.
So I'm not. I struggled with that too. Who to put at the 2 in this situation? And I think maybe the 4. I don't know. I think either Giannis or Porzingis would be a good pick, just because they don't necessarily have to be ball dominant, but they're going to make a big impact. I mean, I think that's where you have to try to beat the Warriors is use size.
Well, and that's what I was going to say. I think that it might be a really interesting idea to try to beat the Warriors if you put DeMarcus Cousins, Anthony Davis, and Joel Embiid all at your 3, 4, and 5, and just throw the ball down there. Use all their size. Maybe Giannis at your 2. You're not going to outshoot them, but if you can just pound the ball in the post every single time with all those guys. A lot of them can handle the ball too. You can't really do anything to stop that. And we've seen that the Warriors have historically struggled against teams like New Orleans who are able to do that, who are able to really pound it down low because they just don't have anybody. I mean, Zaza Pachulia? He's not going to do anything against that.
Yeah, I still think you run the risk with that, though, of going that big. I think you run the risk of the Warriors just, doing their lightning war thing and just blowing up the scoreboard in 3 minutes, and then, you can't recover.
And that's true. It's going to be how are they shooting, stuff like that.
Right.
They can fast break on that team probably pretty easily. But you've got the rim protectors. I mean, if you can slow the tempo, that would be the whole question there. So I guess really what this boils down to, and then I'll let John kind of take it, is could you just throw any team out there as is and beat the Warriors who are in form, coached by Steve Kerr, even whenever LeBron went to Miami, there was some growing pains. That's how it would be with, I think, any team, regardless of the caliber of the players on the team. And a lot of people, that might not be a popular thing to say because people are like, oh, you just throw them out there and then, the magic happens or whatever. But it never works like that. It would take probably 10 to 20 games for them to really be playing well, no matter who it is. So I don't know. I don't think so right off the bat, honestly. Just because they've got team chemistry, they are used to playing together, stuff like that. But eventually, I think that you could form a better team out of the rest of the NBA than the Warriors if they played a full season together.
Right.
Right. So I'm thinking, basically, take one of the Summer Olympic teams that were actually good, not necessarily this last one that Carmelo Anthony dominated, but take the 2008, 2012 Olympic teams, that type of team. Obviously, take the 2012, I guess. Take the guys off the Warriors, which is half the team, but that's whatever. I think they had 4 guys on the 15-man roster this year. But is that right? Is that right?
Probably.
I don't remember.
I think they had 4 or 5. I think Harrison Barnes might have actually been on the team at the time too. But anyway, you take those guys out. You have to think that you could form a better team with those guys than the Warriors. But you said, think about, I know you guys are Heat fans, think about when LeBron went to Miami. Think about how long it took them to kind of mesh So add 5 to 7, stars instead of just 3, and it would be a lot different. So I think I'm gonna go a little unconventional, and I'm not sure you guys will agree with it. Actually, I'm pretty sure you won't. I'm going to go with a starting 5 of Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Paul George, and yes, Carmelo Anthony at the 5.
All shooters.
All shooters, shoot. Coming off the bench, I'm going to have Lonzo Ball and Jason Tatum.
You're right. That is
okay,
unconventional, and you're right. I don't agree with that, but hey, shoot your shot. All right.
Now what we need to do to test this is we need to get on 2K and create these teams and then run a bunch of simulations and see what happens.
That is the only way to find out. Well, while we're talking about putting together dream teams, we've got a little bit of reckless speculation. We're going to really get into the reckless speculation about NBA free agency next week, but, I mean, we got to get a little taste of it this week. So, per Twitter, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were both spotted this week at the Miami airport. And, we're talking reckless speculation, but, I mean, that's actually something that might be real. Kawhi and Paul George.
I've never been to the Miami airport. Have you?
I have not.
No, never have. And, I mean, it's not like anybody really vacations in Miami. So, I mean, this is obviously something that needs to be blown up because they're clearly signing with Miami.
I think so. Even though Kawhi's not a free agent. But, I mean,
sign and trade.
I think because he was, in Miami, it means he's going to be traded there. It has to.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
Probably there for physical.
Probably there for what?
It's physical.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention this to you guys. Another bit of reckless speculation. This is so reckless because it would have to be a trade situation. But Joel Embiid's working out in Los Angeles this summer. So he's in Los Angeles right now. So
man, when LeBron's there too, it's gonna be crazy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. When LeBron and Kawhi and Paul George and Embiid are all there, it's gonna be nuts. The Lakers are turning it around. The 76ers they're gonna swap Embiid for Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, well, and don't forget Lonzo, and then they're gonna draft LiAngelo. So they're gonna
right.
They're gonna have a lot of weapons. You know what's funny? LiAngelo Ball is terrible.
Oh yeah.
Like he's not good at basketball.
Plus he steals things.
And he steals things. It's
not basketballs.
Right, not basketballs.
If he steals basketballs, that's a good thing during a game.
Yeah.
Not necessarily if you're just like at Dick's Sporting Goods, but
right, yeah, that whole shoplifting thing, that'll get you. So, yep, folks, you heard it here first. Kawhi and Paul George both going to be in Miami Heat uniforms next season. I'm very excited about that. As we mentioned, this week is our Father's Day special. So we're going to talk real briefly. Who do you guys think, just kind of to get into this, who do you guys think is the greatest father-son duo to play professional sports? Examples would include Steph and Del Curry or Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. What do you guys think for this?
Yeah, I'm kind of I feel like I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage here because honestly, like if there was a father playing before the 80s, like late 80s, I probably don't even know, you know what I'm saying, that there was a father-son. I'm sure that there's been a lot in football, and there's probably a better one that I'm just not thinking of, but probably Steph and Del Curry would be my pick. Del was a heck of a three-point shooter, played for the Hornets for a long time, and obviously Steph, MVP, done amazing things shooting the basketball. So that's my pick.
I like that. And yeah, you mentioned there's probably lots in the NFL. Honestly, I can't really think of that many, so I might Google that real quick. But John, what do you got for this?
Yeah, well, there's a difference, in my opinion, between the best duo and the duo I want to recognize as the best. So I'll go ahead and give the first its due diligence and then talk about the second one. The best, unfortunately, well, depending on where you fall on it, I just think he's kind of a jerk, is Barry Bonds and his father, Bobby Bonds. Bobby Bonds had a very a legitimate 14-year career, made a couple All-Star teams, had almost 2,000 hits, yada, yada, yada. Barry Bonds, without the steroids, is probably the best baseball player to ever play the game, and I do not say that lightly, but I don't want to talk about that. Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr., man, how do you not love the kid?
Yeah.
And then the time that they both hit a home run in the same inning, for back-to-back home runs actually for the Mariners. Man, that's
cool.
Every kid's dream.
It's pretty cool. I hope me and my dad get there someday.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will. I said the thing about fathers and sons in the NFL, and then Google searched it, and Peyton and Archie Manning.
Oh, duh.
Can't believe and Eli, of course. Can't believe I missed out on that one.
I can't believe I didn't think of that either.
There aren't.
What about Cooper?
Well, Cooper unfortunately got hurt. They say that Cooper was the best athlete of the three of them, but he had like a career-ending injury in high school.
Okay, they always say that though. Like, I'm not just dogging on Cooper, but I feel like anytime 2 out of 3 make it, the third one was always the best.
Well, yeah, and also like you're more athletic than Eli and Peyton Manning. Like, they can throw the football, but neither of them are known for outstanding athleticism.
That's fair, I suppose.
Like, Peyton Manning always looked like he had concrete blocks tied around his feet when he was trying to scramble out there. It was hilarious.
That's true. Good old Peyton Manning. For my greatest father-son duo, I'm going to go a little bit off the beaten path here. I think it's probably got to be Bowser and Bowser Jr. I mean, you look at their careers across platforms, from racing to soccer to especially baseball. I mean, they're both power hitters in baseball. Some of the greatest video game athletes of all time are Bowser and Bowser Jr. You get them back to back in the 3 and 4 hole in Super Mario Baseball, and you're looking at 2 back-to-back home runs a lot of the time. So that's my pick. I think it's a good one too.
Not to mention all the kidnapping. I mean, it takes talent, mental awareness, some speed to be able to do that.
Not only that, but being able to beat the judicial system enough to never get indicted for it.
Oh yeah,
that's also quite impressive.
I saw a meme. I saw a meme one time that was Bowser took his mask off, and it was actually just a dude underneath the mask, and it was like Princess Peach was having an affair with him, and Bowser was like,
okay.
Mario still doesn't get it, does he? And she was like, nope, which I thought was very funny.
We are now at the point where we talk about memes. Wow.
We're there.
About Super Mario memes, nonetheless. Wow. All right. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen, and we're going to get into a little segment we like to call Starting Fives. And in honor of Father's Day that's coming up this weekend, we're going to do a starting 5 of TV dads, and I'm pretty excited about it. So, let's do this a little differently. Let's go through each of us, say each position one by one, and then we can compare a little better. How about that?
I like it.
So I guess I'll just get started. At my point guard, at the 1, I had Andy Taylor from the Andy Griffith Show. He's consistent, reliable, calm, cool, and collected. You know what you're going to get, and he's a winner. So I'm going Andy Taylor at my 1.
Very nice.
Respect. I'm going to go with Danny Tanner. He's kind of the star of the team. I'm sure you all have him on your team somewhere.
Yeah.
But I have him at point guard just because he's constantly dishing the ball around, giving other people responsibilities. Lots of experience working with other people. I think he's just going to be very good at distributing the ball.
Yeah, just to jump in there, I originally had him at my point guard, but then switched him around. So I definitely see your thought process there. Hasten, who'd you have at the 1?
I have Phil Dunphy from Modern Family at the 1. He's just all-around good guy. Everybody loves Phil Dunphy. He can distribute the ball. He gets his family involved with lots of stuff that they don't want to be involved with, and he's just a hilarious guy.
All right, I dig it. I dig that. At the shooting guard, I'm going Red Foreman from That 70s Show. And I picked Red because, he's got an edge. He's tenacious. And, I'm guessing he's a great shooter from the outside. You just assume these things. And also, he's a Green Bay Packers fan, so go Pack, go.
Yeah, I'm assuming that Red has spent a lot of time in the gym just from the way he,
right.
acts in all those seasons of That 70s Show. With that said, I had him. I was originally trying to figure out where I wanted to slot him, and I actually put him in at coach. So he's my coach. He's leading my team. So
I like that,
we're thinking
John.
along the same lines here.
Yeah.
With my 2, I decided to go with Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Nice.
Because in his nickname, he's the tool man. He's got all the tools. He can shoot, he can dribble, he can drive, he can play good defense. I mean, he's just somebody you want in there.
Yeah, that's a great point, John. I actually had Danny Tanner at my 2, so I just felt like he was kind of like he might have a nice, Bob Saget. He could have a decent set shot, kind of, Bob Cousy style. It's not pretty, but it goes in, kind of a thing.
Right. I see that. Funny thing, I actually had Danny Tanner at my 3. He's a all around greatness, and the thing that made me he makes me want to give him the ball just because of his confidence. But he's also humble, and I appreciate that. So yeah, Danny Tanner's my 3. He's the star of the team for sure.
Yeah. My 3, maybe not necessarily as for his dad skills, but purely for his basketball skills, is Jim Halpert. We saw over and over again in The Office how great he was at basketball, from the first season all the way to the end when he's playing with Dr. J. Dude's a baller. Not necessarily always a great father, that can be debated, but TC's got himself a baller for his dad.
That's true. I mean, passing on the good genetics there at least. I mean, you can make the argument that he should have been more inclusive of Pam when he was going to Philly to start that company. But I like your pick, John.
Hasten, who you got at the 3?
I thought about this a lot. I'm going to go Tim the Toolman Taylor at my 3. He's a good player. He's a streaky guy. But he's somebody that you got to coach up. He's always got to get out there, and he's kind of got a personal trainer. I don't know if his personal trainer will clash with Coach Red Foreman or not, but I can't imagine that he would. It's Wilson from across the fence. So, he does a lot of work on his own. So, he's a persistent guy.
Yeah, I respect that. All right, let's get to the big man. At my 4, probably a little bit out of left field, I got Peter Griffin at my 4. And I think, he's not consistent, but some days he's going to go really big, and other days he might flop. But he's a fan favorite, and people look forward to watching him, whether he's going to be great or bad. Kind of a J.R. Smith type, but in a more Zach Randolph sense, if that makes sense.
I like it. So I went with.
Yeah.
I also went kind of out of left field. Fred Flintstone. He's an old, wily veteran. But, he's burly down low. He really is kind of a Zach Randolph type, same body type, same frame. You know it, Chandler, well. But, pushing that car around with your feet, he's got to have some incredible strength in his legs. So come fourth quarter, he's going to be dominating the game when everybody else is kind of running out of gas.
Nice. I like it.
Yep, good. For my 4, I went a little unconventional. Not exactly a dad, but pretty much everyone's. I mean, he's a dad, but just not to the main character. I went Uncle Phil off the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Okay.
For obvious reasons, he's the 4. I mean, he's the big man. You can tell he's got some athleticism still in there, though, and he can maybe surprise you with some low post moves, get you some rebounds. Blue collar guy, goes to work every day. He's a lawyer, so he's smart. Great basketball IQ. All those things factored into my decision.
Right. Yeah, for the 5, I had Uncle Phil at my 5. I think, I mean, for all the reasons you mentioned, he's just the big guy. He's the anchor. He's the anchor underneath, and that's what every solid team needs. So yeah, Uncle Phil at my 5 for sure.
Yeah, at my 5, I had another guy that he's a Midwest born and raised. He is the runt of his family, but he is still, I would say, safely a 5 on most teams. It's Marshall Erickson from How I Met Your Mother. He's a dad, again, towards the end of the show. Not really the main point of the show, but does a great job of, being big.
Right, which is what you want in a center.
Right.
Yeah. Hasten, who'd you have at the 5?
I had Dan Connor from Roseanne, John Goodman. I don't really...
An MSU alum.
Yeah, there we go. I was never really a huge fan of the show Roseanne. I just didn't think it was as funny as some people, but I do think John Goodman is very funny in that show. He was the best part of the show for me. And you want your center to have a little bit of an edge. If you're going to have solid rim protection, you need somebody with a little bit of attitude, give you a little bit of a raspy Mutombo finger wave down there. I could definitely see John Gooden doing that. He's a beast down there.
Yep. I like that. And, John, you mentioned your coach was Red Foreman. My coach, I had Coach Eric Taylor from Friday Night Lights. Granted, he's a football coach.
Respect.
But, I mean,
I like that.
I think lots of skills transfer. I mean, he's just a great leader, great motivator, and just an all-around great guy and a great dad, I will say. I
think it is important to remember, though, that he was picking kids off the basketball team, though, at one point in the show.
I think he would do the same for a basketball team. He'd pick kids off the football team. Yeah. So I think Coach Taylor's my guy there. Hasten, do you have a coach picked?
Yeah, for my coach, I think I'd have to go with Greg Popovich. Because he just really knows how to manage a team.
I mean, I guess he is on TV, so that's a stretch, but. Sure. Well,
don't know if he's a dad or not, but he's fathered a lot of NBA players.
Right. That sounds weird to say it like that, but I know what you mean. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, now it's time to put the fathers in Father's Day special.
Boo.
Thank you. So now we welcome our dads onto the show.
I ain't as good as I once was.
Yeah, there's music too. So, Dad, Bruce, thanks for joining us this morning. We're glad you're here.
Glad to be here, I guess.
Live from New York.
Pretty much live from Farmer City. So we just kind of thought that we've done a segment on here called Starting Fives. We did it earlier in the show. Now that you guys are joining us, we're going to switch up the category a little bit. If you don't know, Starting Fives is a segment we do where we pick a topic and you pick a basketball starting five of things from that topic. So today's topic for our dads is going to be classic rock bands. Dad, why don't you go ahead and start and give us your starting five of classic rock bands?
So you want me to give you everybody to start with?
Yep.
Or you want to do it by position for each dad?
Ooh. Yeah, let's do that, and then we can compare easier. So, Dad, you go ahead and start. Who's your point guard?
My point guard is the Allman Brothers Band.
What's your reasoning? I like that. What's your reasoning?
Because they're smooth, just like Clyde the Glide Frazier was back in the day.
Nope, that's not even right, but go ahead.
Isn't that right? Isn't it
Clyde Drexler was Clyde the Glide.
Oh, Clyde Frazier. Are you sure about that?
Maybe they were. Maybe they were both
anyway,
called.
I'm going off of Frazier because I remember him.
Fair enough. Maybe they were both called Clyde the Glide.
I'm pretty sure he was back in the day.
I believe it.
Okay.
I think he was the original, but I could be wrong.
Stop fighting, Wilson.
I wasn't alive to know whether that's true or not.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Anyway,
right, Bruce.
He was one of the best defensive guards of all time.
Dad, you're rambling.
All right, perfect. Oh, rambling man, perfect.
That's
Nice.
a good one. That's a good one. All right, Bruce, who you got for your point guard?
Let's lead off with the Who.
Nice.
Oh, very
Who?
nice.
Oh my gosh.
So many dad jokes already.
Bob
Bruce,
O'Reilly. You can't go any worse than that.
I like it. I like it. Bruce, we'll leave it to you. Who do you got at the 2, your shooting guard?
Probably Led Zeppelin.
I like that.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I like it.
Ditto.
Wow.
They can score from everywhere.
There you go. Well, I had it that it can start smooth and slow and lull you to sleep and then blow right past you.
That's great reasoning. That's terrific right there. And that's some great dad chemistry. I would be interested to know what percentage of dads across the planet would put Led Zeppelin at their 2, since both of you guys did that.
I mean, I'd say a fair amount.
70, 80% at least.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, if not a 2, then maybe at the 3. But yeah, I think a lot of dads would put them at the 2. All right, Dad. Who's your small forward? Who you got at the 3?
ZZ Top.
Ooh, not surprised.
Mine's the Stones.
I thought about them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so Dad,
did you guys...
what's your reasoning for ZZ Top, Dad? And then we'll ask Bruce the same question.
Well, I mean, they're just slow and steady and just give you everything they got every time they play, and they don't make mistakes.
You know, and if somebody had beards like ZZ Top in the NBA, that would definitely be the best facial hair in basketball for sure.
Well, that's one of the things I said. One of the things every team needs is great hair, whether it be a fro or dreads or unibrow or just a great beard.
Or unibrow.
That's a great point. That's a great point. All right, Bruce, why'd you have the Stones at your 3?
Because I didn't know where to put them.
Fair enough.
They can play everywhere.
Yeah, that's
Start out Blues.
They put LeBron at the 3 because they don't know where to put him.
That's right.
right. Yeah, I think that's astute. All right, Bruce, who'd you have at the big power forward spot?
Eric Clapton.
Ooh.
Nice.
That's
I like
a good
it.
one.
You're getting kind of a Zebo vibe, like they're not huge and mighty, but they're just smooth and they get buckets. That's kind of
They're kind of ground and pound right there.
yeah. Yeah, they can do a little bit of everything. All right, Dad, who'd you have at the 4?
I was torn. I had 2 down. I had Van Halen and AC/DC.
Both
I
good
couldn't
choices.
make a decision.
If you
I
had to
Van
pick,
Halen, I had Van Halen simply because they could jump.
wow.
I do
Good
like
point.
that.
That's a good point.
Got to be able to get the
Yeah.
rebound.
And then AC/DC because they have one of the best, sports anthems ever with Thunderstruck. So, I mean,
They've got lots of them. Yeah.
I know they do, but that, it's just, it was a tough call between those two, but I would
All
probably
right.
have to lean,
So
I'd
you
probably
got
have to lean towards Van Halen just because of, and that's the first era Van Halen, not Van Hagar, by the way.
right. Well, we're splitting hairs at this point. So you're starting Van Halen, and then you've got AC/DC coming off the bench.
Basically, yeah.
All right, let's finish it out. Bruce, who you got at the big man underneath? Who's your 5?
The Boss. Springsteen.
Springsteen.
Bruce. That works in both situations here.
It does. Yeah, I like having Bruce there. He's gonna bring it every time. Gotta admire that. All right, Dad, who'd you have for the 5?
I had to go with Pink Floyd.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, I
Interesting
wouldn't picture them as a 5 per se. What's your reasoning there? Just big sound or?
No, they're the greatest show to come to the arena. They sell out every place they go, and then and every shot is on the money.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say they're
The
a
Boss.
wall. They're a wall down low. I mean,
Oh
they're
yeah,
a rim.
yeah.
They're a
Well,
protector
I had
for
that in
sure.
there too. They build a wall on defense.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's who you want protecting your rim.
yeah. So I had to go with the Floyd.
Yeah.
All right.
I see your-
So I guess this is just a question for me and John and Haston because I think Dad and Bruce would be biased. Guys, who do you think would win this game between our dads' starting 5s?
Oh man.
I mean, it'd be one for the ages for sure.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean,
I think I would just love to see the Led Zeppelin matchup at the 2s. Just see how that played out.
Right. I think
Did they go each other, you think?
I would think so.
I would think this would be a game, honestly, that's too close to call. I mean, it's just going to depend on performance, but it's definitely going to be a 7-game series. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I think Dad's team might have been, they're a little bit bigger, they've got some brawn they're going to bang underneath, but Bruce's team, they're flashy and they've got the athleticism to counter that. So
Yeah, they got some solo scores.
They do. That's wow. I can tell that both of you put a lot of work into that, and I really appreciate it because I had no idea what to expect with this.
It was impressive.
Like that was maybe the best thing we've ever done, and we didn't even do anything for it. So thank you for doing that, Dads. We appreciate it.
Well, you have to understand though, both of us choosing Led Zeppelin. I mean, all the classic rock channels that does a Memorial Day weekend top 500, bands, Led Zeppelin is always on top.
Yeah, that is true. That's uncanny. That's good. Dad chemistry, as Haston put it. So while we have you guys here, it is our Father's Day special, so we're happy to have you on for a little bit more. We're going to do a segment called Over-Unders, which if you've listened to the show, you're familiar with by now, but I'll explain it anyway. Over-Unders, similar to the gambling setup, kind of like we're in Vegas here. We pick a topic and set a line, and then you pick over or under and kind of defend that. So as you may or may not, but probably don't know, the World Cup is starting this week. And some pretty big news today, World Cup-wise, that we'll get to in a little bit. But to start out, this year, the number of World Cup games you'll watch, which this is really just an opinion thing, the line is half. So over under half a World Cup game that you'll watch this summer. What do you guys got?
Under.
Me too.
Are we talking in full games or just partial games?
Full games.
Okay, yeah, under. I might watch 2 halves, but it won't be the same game.
Well, the thing is every time you go out to eat or anywhere that's got TVs on, you're going to catch partial games the whole time.
That's true.
Whether you want to watch it or not, it's going to be on.
That's true.
And like you're going to watch it because it's a TV in a restaurant, you know, like you're not going to not watch it, but I'm going to take the under too. I just don't care because the United States isn't in it. It's fun when the U.S. is playing, even though they're terrible and never do anything good, but I'm not going to watch.
No, I mean, I would be hard-pressed to watch it even if Team USA was in it.
Right. Yeah, I can typically enjoy it then. But we do know now, as of today, that the U.S. will be in the 2026 World Cup because the North American bid was awarded the 2026 World Cup, which is a pretty big deal. It's a combined bid with Canada, the United States, and Mexico, and I'm pretty sure that's the first time that 3 countries have combined a bid like that. So that's a big deal in itself. But also, I think the United States will have all the quarterfinal games and then past that. So the United States will have the big time games. Now, kind of closer to home, I think now there are 17 cities, or there are 26 cities competing for 17 spots to host games, and Kansas City is one of them, even though they're a pretty small market. They're the self-proclaimed soccer capital of the United States, if you will. So if that does happen, and say the United States was to play a World Cup game in Kansas City, how much would you pay to go see that game? The line is $399.99, over or under. And I know that sounds like a lot, but I did some research, and ticket prices for this year's World Cup, it's in Russia this year, and when Russia's playing, the tickets were $500, so I even undercut that a little bit. So over under pretty much $400 would you spend to go watch the U.S. play a World Cup game in Kansas City? What do you guys think?
You know, I'd love to say over, but honestly, it would be almost just as fun to go down to the P&L and watch it there.
That's true.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. There's nowhere to tailgate at Sporting Park, and that's half the experience.
It would be at Arrowhead.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense. I was going to say, that's going to be such a small venue for a World Cup game.
Yep, it'll be at Arrowhead. I saw something today that in order to do it, it's going to be a several $1 million renovation in order to get the specs right for a soccer game, but it would definitely be well worth it in the long run, I think, for Kansas City. Bruce, what do you think? What would you spend, Bruce, to go to this game?
I'd rather go to a bar and watch it. I don't go to bars.
That seems to be the consensus.
I can vouch.
Dad, what do you think? Would you hand out the dough to go to this game?
If I could buy it under and then resell the tickets is probably what I would do.
That's smart.
That's savvy. Hey, Chandler, I've got a question for you. So
okay.
You might not know this, but this is just out of my curiosity. So tickets in Russia, you said, are expensive when Russia's playing. But do they have any stadiums that seat 80,000 people like what Arrowhead does?
I didn't look that far into it. I would think so. I mean, maybe not 80,000, but I think in order to win a World Cup bid, you would probably have to be able to accommodate huge crowds.
Sure.
So
I just wondered if that would affect ticket prices was all.
Oh, I'm sure.
Isn't it common in Europe and stuff to have 100,000 plus fans at a lot of these big games?
Oh yeah, I mean soccer's huge in Europe. I don't know how big it is in Russia. I mean I really don't know. But yeah, for me personally, I would probably spend quite a bit of money to go to this game. I don't know that I'd spend $400, but hopefully by 2026, 8 years from now, I'll be gainfully employed and maybe able to spend the money to go to that. But who knows by then? I would like to say. Yeah, we'll see what Morgan says. I'd like to say I'd take the over, but, once we got down to it. But it would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see the United States play a World Cup game, so it'd be hard to pass up just, because soccer fans are crazy. It'd be quite the atmosphere.
Well, if Team USA was playing, that would change everything, if they were playing Kansas City versus, like, Brazil or...
Right, well, that was part of it, though. That was...
Okay. I didn't catch that part, apparently.
Yeah, I felt like I talked for a long time leading up to that, but hey, we're past that now. So now what I'm going to do is talk for a long time leading up to the next one. So just to give some background of this next one, back in the day, Haston and Dad and I, we used to play, I'm talking when Haston and I were very little, we would play our father in 2-on-1 games on the 6-foot mini hoop in the basement. Dad rarely let us win, which I'm not mad about. That was probably a good lesson for us. But if we did the same thing today, keep in mind, Hayes and I are both in our 20s, and Dad's maybe a little past his prime. If we played a game to 100 on our 6-foot mini hoop, how badly would Hayes and I beat our father? The line is over under 30.5 points in a game to 100. Dad, I'll go ahead and let you take this one.
Oh, you'd kill me. I guess it would be over 30 points, would be my guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd have to muscle up big time.
Right. I mean, one thing that is probably to your advantage and maybe to our disadvantage is that the hallway isn't very wide, because it's not like we could just run around you because there's just not a ton of space. So that would be a factor.
I'm not sure that's a compliment at all.
Take it how you want. John, what do you think? What do you like in this matchup?
Yeah, at a certain point, you have to take into account, I played on this hoop, the ceiling's not super high here, so I know for Haston especially, the jumper would be tough to get going just with the low ceiling. So that might be something to take into account. With that said, I think you guys have the chemistry going. I think I'd have to take the over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I haven't seen them do anything together in so long. I want to stay under.
Oh, we've got our first under.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the vote of confidence there, Bruce.
I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. I think I've got some analysis on this. Yeah, John, you alluded to it. A lot of people know me as a real high flyer. Got about an 18-inch vertical, so I'm pretty much big time. But in that hallway down there,
You're
really,
now, are you still getting that high?
well, it's questionable. It's questionable. Nobody's been out there with a ruler to measure it in a while, so I'm just going to go ahead and say that, and that's not really impressive anyway. In the hallway, like you said, there's not much room, and we don't really call fouls unless it's really major. So I really think that Dad can just, especially since goaltending is, right, yeah, goaltending is not allowed. So if Dad can just get his way into the paint, just, back us down, which he probably can, because, we're both fairly tall and skinny. It's actually, once you reach a certain point on that hoop, because the ceiling's low, really height is not much of an advantage, because we're all taller than the rim. So I really I'm gonna take the under on this one, because I'm pretty sure that Dad can score right with us, basically, because he's just going to back us down, and we can't really do anything about it, and he's just going to turn over his shoulder and dunk it.
Right. Yeah, I think Dad is kind of sandbagging, to be honest. I think probably in reality, whenever Hayes and I aren't here at the house, Dad is down there practicing, waiting for this rematch to happen. So if Hayes and I are having a bad shooting day, I think Dad's in the game, and I think probably that stamina is going to start, fatigue is going to start to take its toll. I don't know what kind of shape Dad's in. I don't think Hastings in the greatest shape of his life. I know I'm certainly not. So I'm actually going to call no contest because I don't think we make it to 100 points.
We have 3 simultaneous ACL tears.
Well, the one thing I haven't told you guys, I do have those new custom-made knee braces coming. That's supposed to.
Yeah, you got the Brett Favre copper tones.
That's what I was going to say.
I've got them coming, so.
Man, well, maybe we'll have to put that to the test, see who's right there. All right, our last over-under here to close. Shout out to Bruce here. Number of naps taken per 9 innings of Royals baseball by Bruce. The line is 1.5. John, I'll let you take this one to start.
Well, I wrote this as I looked behind me and I saw him taking a nap with the Royals game on. So per 9 innings of watching a baseball game, I would say I usually come in right in the middle sometime, wake him up, and then he falls asleep again. So I'll take the over.
Let me, real quick, John, let me ask you, what qualifies as a nap? Do the eyes have to be shut for at least 5 minutes for it to be a nap?
I'd say half an inning.
Okay, all right, yeah. I could get on board with that.
Is this only watching TV?
Still 3 outs in an inning, so can't remember all the innings.
Is this actually watching at home on TV, or is this also considered at Royals? Watching it at the stadium.
I'm talking on the couch.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over as well. Nothing against Bruce, but the Royals are just a drag to watch this year, so it's tough to stay awake there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. This year more than ever, they are definitely a good thing to take a nap to. Second only to golf.
Yeah. Dad, what do you think here?
Oh, I'm definitely taking the over because I know Bruce works hard every day and is exhausted at the end of the day and deserves a nap or 2 or 3. So, I'm all for the extra nap during the game. Plus, the Royals are just really bad.
That is true, and we are going to see them on Sunday.
Yeah,
Happy Father's Day.
On a 95-degree day.
That's
Thank you,
right.
boys.
Bruce, you got anything to say to this?
What do you got?
He's napping.
No idea.
He fell asleep, so.
Well, I guess that answers the question then.
I fall
Hard
asleep
over.
during all the crossovers. That's why I'm listening to all of them.
Wow.
Ooh,
Ouch.
that's,
Well, I am
deserve
glad
that.
that we're good for something at least.
yeah, me too. I will say to that, it still counts as a view. So whether you're awake or not, so we'll still take it. Well, folks, that wraps up our show this morning. We usually do shout-outs, but I think obviously this week our shout-outs are going to be to our dads and all the other dads. I think a lot of time the love for sport in a person comes from their father, and I think that's definitely the case for the 3 of us. So thank you to our dads and all the other dads for just loving sports with their kids.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah, you bet. Anybody else got anything before we skedaddle for the week?
Nope,
Glad
let's
to
get out of
be
here.
Online.
All right. Well, everybody, we're glad you're with us. Have a very happy Father's Day this weekend, and we'll see you next time on the crossover.
Wear your sunscreen.